the orange and blue continue their homestand with 3 more points on the line. Good evening and welcome to Nippert Stadium on the campus of the University of Cincinnati. Tom Gallagher happy to be alongside Ohio Soccer Hall of Famer Paul Rockwood as we get you set for the first ever meeting between FC Cincinnati and FC Montreal. And Paul, when you look at the standings right now, these two clubs at opposite ends of things in the Eastern Conference. FC Cincinnati, a draw last Saturday. It felt like a missed opportunity, but still right there, tied in third place. And at the other end of the standings, well, for FC Montreal, it's been a tough year. 14th place, dead last in the East. So if you're FC Cincinnati, it feels like a great opportunity tonight to pick up 3 big points.
Yes, you definitely have to pick up 3 tonight. You don't want to be down at the end of the season and missing a home game opportunity in the playoffs. So this is where it's very important that you pick up those points tonight.
Well, it continues a big homestand for John Harkes and his lads. And for the last 2 months, the matches here at Nippert Stadium have felt like they've been playing in England. Cold, wet, a lightning delay last Saturday. But tonight it's going to be hot. Field temperature right now about 85, 90 degrees. As a coach, how do you adjust things to deal with the temperature?
Really, you don't need to do too much because they're hydrated during the week. The coaches train them properly. They get their proper rest. And it's just one of those things that you have to deal with, like if it's raining or if it's snowing, you just deal with it that evening.
Well, it's just hot. No rain, no chances of storms here in Cincinnati. So we'll give you the starting lineup and get much more on the field conditions and the heat, at least from the players' perspective, when we check in with Lindsey Patterson. Starting lineups coming your way next. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Fourth consecutive at Nippert Stadium and 5 straight. It'll be 6 of 7 in the friendly confines and a chance for 3 more points. It is hot, but the entire pitch now is in the shade. For more on the field conditions down below, let's go to the third member of our broadcast team, Lindsey Patterson.
Guys, it's one of the warmest matches we've had all year, hitting 90. USL is actually stepping in. They're going to make the players take a water break. You'll see that in the first half, right around the 30-minute mark, and in the second half at 75. That time will be added into stoppage time. They also brought a heat stress test. I took the temperature about 20 minutes prior to the match. It's about 115 in the sun, 85 in the shade. The good news is most of the field is in the shade, so it's 85 degrees right now and a little damp because of the sprinklers from earlier.
All right, thanks, Lindsey. Keep us posted and stay hydrated down there all night long. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, where you can start your next adventure in the first ever RAV4 hybrid at 34 miles per gallon city. You can go over 500 miles on a tank of gas. First for FC Cincinnati, 6-2-3 on the season. No changes for John Harkes. Same 11 that he went with last Saturday. That means Eric Stevenson starts his second consecutive game. And Corbin Bone, who we thought played very well playing further back in the formation last week, will stay in that position in the midfield. At the other end for FC Montreal, at least one guy from Montreal Impact, the MLS club. Of course, they are the second-tier club for the Montreal Impact of Major League Soccer, and their goalkeeper, Maxime Crépeau, a native of Quebec, and there'll be lots of those French names as we go through the night looking there. And the other one to keep an eye on all night long, number 54, Balou Jean-Yves Tabla. Did I nail it on the first time, Paul?
Oui, monsieur.
So Tabla, a youngster, just 17 years old, number 54 in white, a young man to keep an eye on. FC Cincinnati will control first. They are led by John Harkes in his first year leading this expansion club. And the home team will wear their traditional blue kits, white and orange on the front of the jersey tops, blue shorts, blue socks, and we are underway. The first ever meeting between FC Cincinnati and FC Montreal. It is 89 degrees and sunny here at Nippert Stadium. And for the first time in what feels like a month, it is dry as we begin soccer action in the Queen City. Kenny Walker getting his first touch, knocking it across midfield, where it is picked up by the visitors. And they'll turn it back the other way. And Kungiwa, now Eric Stevenson tapping it into the box. And it is quickly knocked out. Throw-in coming for FC Cincinnati. Wiedemann will leave it for Pat McMahon. And Paul, a good opportunity here for Pat McMahon, who will take many of the throw-ins throughout the night to get it into the box and give FC Cincinnati an early scoring chance.
Yes, they have to develop this killer instinct. I think is one of the keys of the game tonight. They're creating all these chances, and they must get the ball in the back of the net.
Well, more on that, I think, is coming up in tonight's keys to the match, which are presented by Toyota. Wiedemann swinging it in for Aoli. Will hold on the keys for a moment. Aoli to Stevenson. Stevenson is double teamed, and the flag was up on the near side. Offside will be called. So now let's get to the keys. Presented by Toyota, and for all Toyota offers, including those not seen on TV, go to Toyota's official website for deals at buyatoyota.com. And there you go.
There
right
we go. We
point.
have to finish chances. Right there, they looked a little nervous in the back for Montreal. We've got to get the pressure on them. The second thing, we've got to play wide, get service into the box. That's what they're trying to do right there.
Well, wasted goal kick from Maxime Crépeau, the 6-foot goalkeeper, as it goes out along the near side touchline, and McMahon will throw it in. And you talk about finishing those chances, Paul, for FC Cincinnati. Obviously, that late goal conceded in the final 30 seconds against Richmond really made it feel like a loss, even though it ended up being a draw, because 3 points right there at your fingertips, and it ends up just being 1 point because of the draw. But those missed chances, and there were plenty of them in the second half, you really got the feeling if one of those goes in, you lose a clean sheet, but you don't lose the 30 points.
That's right. You're creating chances, you've got to put them in. And you're creating the chances that we have. Now here we go outside.
It'll be Wiedemann just outside the 18. He's looking for Jimmy McLaughlin, who can't catch up with it. Nice job defensively by FC Montreal. Tyler Pollock disrupts. And here comes a chance. McLaughlin misreads it. Tyler Pollock was trying to play it forward, and Crépeau will come over and scoop it up with a little pressure from Aoli.
And once again, they need to do this on a consistent basis. You see, they've misplayed about 4 or 5 balls in the back. We've got to take advantage of that.
Tom Gletter, Paul Rockwood, Lindsey Patterson, happy to be with you from Nippert Stadium, where FC Cincinnati playing their 4th consecutive game. There's the head coach in his 2nd year, leading FC Montreal, Philippe Erlafoy. Far side of the pitch, Simon Lemire looking for a header is fouled, much to the chagrin of McLaughlin, and a free kick coming up for FC Montreal. 1-9-0 on the season. We showed you the standings off the top. Last place currently in the Eastern Conference. It's been a tough year, no doubt, for this club. They are young. They have a lot of guys trying to prove something. The average age, or the age range, is 17 to 22. Nobody over 22 on this FC Montreal roster.
And with youth comes inconsistencies, self-discipline, following the coach's game plan.
Alessandro, no doubt. Alessandro Luigi knocks it off a defender. So the first corner kick of the night coming. This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. And here it comes into the box. A shot will go up over the head of Mitch Hildebrand and into the Bailey. Went off the foot of Jaeger. I'm going to lean on you, Paul, for a little help with my French tonight. Wiedemann coming out wide, just like John Harkes was hoping for. Sends it in, and a corner kick coming up for FC Cincinnati. That one will be brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today by calling 513-651-CASH. Wiedemann acting like he's going to take a short corner, and Tyler Pollock making a slow and methodical run to the corner. He usually takes them from the right side, being that he is left-footed. And now he will look to swing it into the box. Jimmy McLaughlin makes the run from the far side to set up if they do want to go short. Instead, they're going to go back outside the 18 to Kenny Walker. Walker trying to play it back to Pollock, put too much onto it, rolls out along the end line, and a goal kick coming up for Crapo. When you look, I was talking about the age range for FC Montreal, being 17, the youngest, that's Tabla at 22. For FC Cincinnati, a little bit different. 20 years of age is the youngest in Omar Mohamed, and 33 is the oldest in Omar Cummings, who is dressed in a reserve tonight for John Harkes. So a lot of experience for FC Cincinnati, a lot of youth for FC Montreal. Pollock sending it into the middle. Stevenson's going to tap it backwards onto the foot of Nicholson. Nicholson, one of the two starting center backs today for John Harkes, as he continues to start in place of Austin Berry. The good news is he's making progress. His official status is day-to-day, but I think one of the big things that we've noticed at training is that he's out there in cleats now and able to do more of the team stuff as opposed to just rehab the whole time.
Correct, and he's sprinting and he's hitting 40-yard balls, and it's just warming to see him get back.
He's anxious but knows he doesn't want to push it too much, as the home team is called for offside. Second time we've seen FC Cincinnati beyond the flag here in the first half. 7th minute at Nippert Stadium. We are scoreless between Montreal and Cincinnati. Maxim Crapo comes up to take the free kick right at the edge of the offensive third for FC Cincinnati. He wasn't happy with something with the ball, so he threw that one out of play.
Too soft.
And Crapo will put his right foot into it and send it quickly into the offensive third for FC Montreal. Back the other way, Aoli making a great run. He is knocked down. No whistle from the match official, Rosendo Mendoza, much to the chagrin of the fans here in Cincinnati.
From up here, it did look like a foul, but wearing it down there.
Opposite side of the pitch, and a great distance from us. Now FC Montreal would like to call as Chonier is taken down. Yeah, it's a clear foul.
Yeah.
It was Charbonneau who came over. He literally body checked him. Now I know FC Montreal is from Canada, but this isn't hockey, folks. Definitely not a legal move. Pat McMahon across midfield. The fullback playing forward as he often does. Goes out wide to Wiedemann, trying to get it into the middle. Deflected out on the near sideline. Went off of Kungilwa. Pat McMahon to throw it in. Second time we've seen a throw in from this side of the pitch, deep in the offensive third. McLaughlin and McMahon with some nice footwork. Back to McMahon and intercepted by Kungilwa. Then Kenny Walker coming forward and picking it up off the foot of Rizi. Into the middle of Coley, looking for the header. It goes just wide. A pretty ball to FC Cincinnati's striker, and a chance for an early goal. Misses by just a few feet.
There's some great interplay here. Little give and goes, then a service back to Kenny, drives it. Coley pulls up rather than buries it.
Coley leading the club in scoring 5 goals this season in 11 matches. By comparison, FC Montreal, the entire team, has scored 5 goals in 10 matches.
And given up 15. So that's good for us.
The differential is striking between these two teams. -10 for the visitors, +6 for the home club.
Man looking to track down the ball just across midfield, taps it backwards. And now he's going to play it all the way back to Mitch Hildebrand. And Mitch has really been phenomenal in goal over the last 4 weeks.
Yes, he has. He's just been stellar back there. And with his backs, it's in the tracking back of Kenny Walker, Corbin. It's just fantastic.
Wiedemann into the offensive third with a left foot. Sends it just wide. Trying to challenge Crapo and didn't create much of a challenge.
Delbridge, long ball to the corner. Great touch inside. Didn't get all of it.
No, I think he was trying to maybe go on that near side post, thinking Crapo was going to cheat the other way.
Yeah. In the middle of the shot, he changed his mind, it looked like.
Paul Nicholson turning it forward to Kenny Walker, who's triple team. Still got to play it forward, and then Wiedemann tried to get his shoulder onto it. Intercepted Corbin Bone. FC Cincinnati may have numbers. McLaughlin out wide. Inside of the 18. McLaughlin into the middle, right into the hands of Crapo. He's trying to sneak it past the goalkeeper to find Ugo Aoli and couldn't quite get there. Now a long ball the other way for Tabla. Paul Nicholson catches up with him and sends it into FC Cincinnati's bench. Tabla, by the way, the leading scorer on the season for FC Montreal with 2 goals. Rigi trying to get into the 18, loses it. Mitch Hildebrand will pick it up right along the end line. There is a few square feet of the pitch right now that is in the sun, and that is just to the right, about a third of the goal to the right of that 6-yard box next to Mitch Hildebrand. Only place that sun is an issue at Nippert Stadium at the moment.
This is where I think Cincinnati has a big advantage, where they play give and goes in a small space. I think they can really exploit that here against Montreal.
Here's Eric Stevenson. Stevenson inside the 18. Nice move to keep the possession. Pulls it outside of the box to Kenny Walker. Walker swinging in, misfired over the head of Aoli. And it'll be tracked down by Lemire. Simon Lemire, a defender out of Canada, making his 6th appearance of the season. We're in the 12th minute and scoreless. Jimmy McLaughlin crossing it, nobody home. Wiedemann will make a long run, but getting there first is Mkungiwa. Aran Mkungiwa from Zaire, part of the Montreal Impact Academy for 4 years before signing with the USL side. Montreal into the offensive third. Chonier sends it forward. Mitch Hildebrand there without any trouble. I would think, too, when we talk about often how good the chemistry is for FC Cincinnati, Paul, when you're an MLS 2 side and you're seeing the changes in the rosters this club has seen all year, like 45 different guys have played, 40 or 45 different guys have played on the roster this season. When you look at that, it's hard to build chemistry when you're changing lineups and who's traveling every week. It's been very consistent for the team in orange and blue.
That is so spot on. You have guys also trying to get up to the Montreal first team.
Yep.
And the lack of interplay between the forwards and the attack of Montreal has resulted in just only the 5 goals.
Montreal has 1 American on their roster. That is Kyle Fisher. He is not with the club here because he got called back up to the Impact. Has 5 appearances this season, but didn't make the trip. Now, of course, MLS on a bit of a break right now with Copa America going on. So the MLS side could have had sent a few guys down for this trip. Does not appear to be the case. Maxim Kripo, however, is a member that is under contract with the Impact and is currently on loan to the USL side. Good defense from FC Cincinnati to pull it out of the offensive third of Montreal. And then a whistle in the midfield is going to slow things down, and a restart coming for FC Cincinnati. Paul Nicholson in the midfield. We'll tap it forward to Kenny Walker. Wiedemann and McMahon. And a nice ball forward for Wiedemann.
Really good combination.
And then Wiedemann's going to be called for a foul. He got tangled up with Mkungiwa. down in the corner trying to get to the ball.
He sees him. He knows.
Yeah,
He
that's a
kind
good
of
call.
good call.
A little bit too aggressive trying to get to the ball. Had his hand in his back and pushed just enough.
Gilwa, he saw the big man coming, and he kind of didn't put much resistance on.
Well, and if you feel a hand in your back in that situation, you know the official is behind the play.
Exactly.
That's how he's going to see it. So. Kenny Walker picks it up on the midfield on the throw-in, and then Montreal will lose it right in front of FC Cincinnati's bench. Pat McMahon will throw it in right in front of his gaffer. Walker going to play it back to Delbridge. Tyler Pollock playing up from his fullback position. McLaughlin taps it to Pollock, far sideline. Quick throw in for Montreal. Yoseki forward. Tabla. Now out wide to the near side, Marco Dominguez. Dominguez will send it across the middle. Nobody in the box. Lemire, however, there to pick it up. Sends it back. Delbridge clears it away. Jimmy McLaughlin picks it up on his right foot. Tyler Pollock in a tough spot. Trying to clear. Montreal doing a good job holding possession here and trying to create opportunities. They haven't challenged Mitch Hildebrand yet, but they've done a good job possessing and trying to get things to build up.
Yes, they have, and hopefully here Cincinnati can dispossess and counterattack it.
Mkungilwa into the box, onto the foot of Tabla. Tabla back to Rigi, fires a shot just wide, a few feet over the upper 90, looking over the left shoulder of Mitch Hildebrand.
Good touch to the side, shot, Bender, just wide, upper 90 on the right.
If he takes that shot about 5 feet further back, and that's coming right back at the goal. It's right on spot, right?
Side netting. Side netting, you're correct.
So one win this year for FC Montreal. That came on the road against Richmond 2 weeks ago. They fell 2-0 to Rochester last Saturday.
Good ball from Tyler down to Jimmy. McLaughlin pulls it back.
McLaughlin back to Pollock. Now Corbin Bone. Pollock out wide. Left side. Knocked away. And out along the end line. Corner kick coming up. And that'll be Corbin Bone on the far side. Running over to take it. This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash.
Cincinnati's changed up their corner kick play a bit. They're a little bit farther spread out.
Corbin Bone sends it into the box. Delbridge playing forward, can't get to it. Ball's headed straight into the air. Now Delbridge plays it over to Bone, who tried to send it back to Aoli. It was intercepted by Montreal. Kenny Walker will pick it up in the midfield. Walker trying to slide it forward. Well defended, and then suddenly turns around and finds the ball back on his foot. And Gill sends it into the midfield. Corbin Bone on to Wiedemann inside the 18. Wiedemann with a pretty move. Sends it into the chest of Crapo, goes out along the end line, but pretty footwork from Andrew Wiedemann to pick up a corner kick.
Ball's back outside without looking, a blind pass. Wiedemann comes in, does a little step over, takes a shot.
Stevenson, Wiedemann a long ball, and a shot will go just high. Andrew Wiedemann, the California native, playing in his 12th match of the season, has 3 goals. Spent some time playing in MLS for Toronto's first-tier club. Aoli, ball outside of McLaughlin. Crapo has to come up and head it outside the 18.
He's about 10 yards outside the 18. Ball bounced up high and did a nice header, clear it.
Good decision by the goalkeeper. FC Montreal pushing forward. Schwanier sends it just wide. Corner kick coming up. Ball went off of FC Cincinnati. And another corner for the visitors. This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today by calling 513-651-CASH. Schwanier.
Sun's right in Mitch's eyes right now.
Tough spot. Montreal's going to go short. Tabla, the 17-year-old, sends it across. Pat McMahon gets his head onto it. Long shot, not even close. Belhangoye stepped up to it and sent it towards the Bailey. '21st minute, we remain scoreless in the first ever meeting between these two clubs. Appreciate everybody joining us on a very warm but dry evening here in the Queen City. Hottest day of the year so far, no question about that. It was about 93 when I left my house at 3 o'clock. It was 89 degrees when we checked in with Lindsey Patterson right at the start of the match.
I told you last week that was it for the weather.
Well, yesterday we were at training and we talked to John Harks.
Sure.
He came over and shook our hand after standing out in the rain as Pat McMahon bringing it up wide. Throw-in coming for FC Cincinnati, but he shook our hands. He was freezing.
Yes.
After being in the rain for about an hour and a half of Friday training.
Yes.
Hard to believe it's just 28 hours later or so.
He thought he was in England.
Certainly felt like it yesterday. Note, while it was pouring rain, Paul and I were hiding underneath the bench enclosure. Montreal being deliberate as they work backwards to set up their build-up. Back onto the foot of Charbonneau. Jean-Luc Charbonneau, a defender out of Quebec. Much of this roster hails from Quebec. Pat McMahon turning on it to Andrew Wiedemann, who played it off the back of his head to keep it in play, but there were 4 white jerseys and nobody in blue nearby.
Yes. He could have used a little help. Somebody saying settle.
All the way back to Crepeau. Tyler Pollock has it come off his head. I mentioned that the one American for FC Montreal, Kyle Fisher, he's from South Carolina, not on this trip as he got called up to Montreal Impact. The one Canadian on FC Cincinnati's roster, Jamie Dell, the midfielder, who is from north of the border. He is dressed today. So I haven't seen him dressed for many matches this year, so he's a potential substitution for John Harks. Derek Luke, the defender out of New Jersey, not dressed, so that was a change
there, yes.
And as we've mentioned on the broadcast before, John Harks evaluates things as training goes on throughout the week. The starters are evaluated in the same fashion. He gets 18 guys.
The amount of communication they have between coaches and the players is just shockingly good. I'm amazed the time that they put in with these players. He's just phenomenal.
Foul will be called on FC Montreal right at midfield as Jimmy McLaughlin is challenged.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Studs up.
Marco Dominguez coming in. Called for the foul. Eric Stevenson playing it back to Paul Nicholson. One thing to keep an eye on, Louis Belhangoyet out of Quebec playing on 4 yellow cards. So what does that mean? If he got booked, then as I think we're going to see our first booking of the day, Kenny Walker gets tied up on a very tough tackle. I think he's going into the book once the health of FC Montreal player who is down is evaluated. That was Marco Dominguez.
That was a good tackle. He got the ball and then
I don't think that's a yellow
follow
card.
through. No.
It looked a lot worse in real time. I don't think there's any question to that. I thought it in real time. I thought it was a booking, and then when we saw the replay, I agree, not a booking. But But you know what?
Yellow
It's not
card
my
is
call.
issued to FC Cincinnati.
Rosendo Mendoza gets paid to be down on the pitch and make those decisions.
You're
So-
not wearing black tonight.
Correct. So Kenny Walker, the first into the book tonight. For Kenny, that's his second yellow card of the season. Nobody on FC Cincinnati's roster in any trouble, as I was talking about. 5 yellow cards means you have to sit a match, and nobody has yet reached the 4 yellow card mark. Some coaches will choose to sit somebody in that situation. Tabla on a little interplay off the throw-in. Into the 18, Stevenson disrupts. Nicholson will send it into the midfield, right onto the chest of Aoli. Pretty ball. Hugo needs some help. It is knocked away right at midfield, and the official on the near sideline signals the throw-in for Montreal, and that will indeed be the case. 0-0 here at Nippert Stadium.
Montreal has really shown a lot of composure here.
Hugo Aoli's taken down hard. Foul is called.
They pulled him down.
Yep.
He pulled him down.
Wiedemann gets it right at the 18,
Great
into
ball
the
across
middle.
the top of the box.
McLaughlin catches up with it, sneaks away from Yoseki, then into the box. Crapo punches it forward. He made contact with Aoli,
Looks like offsides.
and the flag was up. Offside is called. Third time in the first half, FC Cincinnati has been caught offside.
And that's probably one of the second time I think now that they've had 2 people in the box on a service, where before they're hitting maybe one guy and then they're serving the ball in. So they're taking some more time to get more people in the box.
Wiedemann and Aoli were there. And here comes a throw-in for Wiedemann.
Kangilwi thought it was his.
And Gunduli picked it up and was holding onto it as Wiedemann was trying to get to the ball. Wiedemann acting as though there was a sense of urgency when we all know Pat McMahon was walking over to take this throw-in.
Yes.
Now, it's not to say last week FC Cincinnati in their goal against Richmond did it quick restart because they saw Richmond with their backs to the ball. Pat McMahon double teamed and has it taken off his foot. Then Montreal can't do anything with it. Marco Dominguez mixing it up with McMahon, who's trying to throw it in. This game suddenly has taken on a bit of aggressiveness, Paul.
Yes, it has. Rishi here at the ball. He's penetrating. He's put himself a little.
Pat McMahon snuck up on him from behind and disrupted the offensive push.
Take his
Stevenson
pocket.
at midfield. 3-on-4 for FC Cincinnati. Long ball for Aoli, a hair too long, and into the paws of Maxim Crapo. Dominguez going to send it to the far side of the pitch. 28th minute. Wiedemann right at midfield. Looking wide for Jimmy McLaughlin and misfire. Didn't get it quite as wide as he would have liked.
Cincinnati's going to have to be a little more patient. Attack, but you have to be patient with it and not waste the chances.
Dominguez to the far side of the pitch. McLaughlin comes over and takes it away. Amir was there, but McLaughlin coming back. In this formation that FC Cincinnati has played, you can call it a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 as they've made that change with Eric Stevenson in. Do you see it more like a 4-2-3-1 with Aoli being the striker pushing forward and getting Wiedemann and McLaughlin? Hold on, back heel to McLaughlin.
That is correct. If we can get a serve in.
Yeah. Deflected away, and then outside of the 18. Good defense by FC Montreal. That one went out right in front of FC Cincinnati's bench. Near side touchline. Rigi tried to sell it like it didn't, and here comes the break. Lindsey Patterson mentioned this in pregame, a required hydration break determined by the USL. For more, let's go down to the pitch and check in with Lindsay.
Yeah, guys, when it gets warm like this, they're going to do this. USL is going to step in and make the guys take a little bit of a water break to stay hydrated, avoid some of that cramping. We'll see it again in the 75th minute in the second half. Any time that's added will be added to stoppage time in the first and second half.
Considering that it's June 11th, I'd imagine we'll see it a few more times this summer. A lot of home matches for FC Cincinnati in the month of July. Lindsay, that also means it's time for you to find a cup of water and stay hydrated. So make sure you stay hydrated down there. We don't want any of our team going down with hydration issues today. But, Paul, it's interesting because you don't get timeouts in this sport. No. You don't get a chance to regroup except at halftime. This gives each of the coaches, and it affects both teams, a chance to call the guys together. And you look, John Harkes very much is coaching up his 11 right now during this hydration break.
That's correct. And it's good chance for the Montreal coach to reinforce the good that they've been doing, and it's also a good chance for John Harkes to reinforce the goals that they had set up for the game to complete as a game plan.
So FC Cincinnati huddling up and heading back out onto the pitch after the hydration break. So we'll have a little bit more stoppage time, a little bit longer of a match here tonight. Get into the game through the USL's social media channels. Follow the USL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for news, live game updates, and video highlights from across the league. One of the matches that'll be interesting is July 23rd. That's the third of 3 regular season matches against Louisville City. That match is slated for 4 p.m. And you and I were both here at that time. The entire pitch for the entire match basically will be in the sun.
Yes.
The sun sets to the west, obviously. We are on the west side of the stadium, so the new massive press box that we broadcast from protects the sun somewhat, but you'll see that shadow come across during a 4 p.m. game, and that'll be a whole different ball game because if it is hot like this, it'll be really hot as that turf bakes in the sun.
And their legs will bake as well.
Out wide to the near side, and Kungawa for FC Montreal controlling in the midfield. Corbin Bone picks it up defensively, and he'll send it out to Pat McMahon, and now back to the goalkeeper, Mitch Hilderman. It's interesting, I talked to Corbin this week about the heat and about training in the heat, and it was warmer earlier in the week than obviously cold and wet yesterday, but he told me that after training for about an hour and a half, it almost feels like your shoes are on fire.
Some of the players even take water and squirt on their cleats.
Anything to keep it cool. Harrison Delbridge. I was joking with Sean Aoli down on the pitch before the match about 5:30, saying he was telling me how hot it was. I said, feels just like Seattle, right? I think yesterday felt more like Seattle. Long ball for Wiedemann. Actually, I'm sorry, that was Stevenson, knocked out wide. And Pat McMahon will come over. No, there'll be a quick throw in from Andrew Wiedemann. Stevenson losing a defender, gives it to Wiedemann, sends it across. Aoli onto his foot, right-footed shot right into the chest of Crapo.
He almost had a reprise of his very first goal this year, where he picked it up off with 1 foot and tried to do a side volley.
Paul Nicholson heads it out along the touchline. Quick throw-in for Montreal. Schwanier can't control, long ball, Aoli. Flag is not up. Aoli plays it to himself. Into the 18, Aoli is taken down,
yes,
and here it comes, a penalty kick as Sean Aoli is tackled in the box by Simon Lemire. And can Sean Aoli pick up his 6th goal of the season and give FC Cincinnati a lead in the 34th minute?
Montreal gave up 2 goals, 2 penalty kicks against Harrisburg, and so this is that part of that youth, that lack of discipline, and this is what you get for it.
Aoli scored on a penalty kick 2 weeks ago here at Nippert Stadium. He will do it at the end opposite of the Bailey. Chance of FCC echoing throughout the stadium. Maxim Crapo, 6-foot goalkeeper, a 1.67 goals against average on the season. He is a member of the Canadian national team. Aoli, the native of Seattle, Washington, will square it up from 12 yards away. Aoli on the penalty kick, and there it is! FC Cincinnati is on the board. For the second time in 3 matches, Sean Aoli scores on a penalty kick, and FC Cincinnati on top 1-0.
Aoli fakes him out.
He
Thought we
guessed
faked
right,
him
yeah.
out. Yes, he did. He tried to do that little stutter step, and
Well, it worked 2 weeks ago. Remember, he did that stutter step 2 weeks ago in the match when he scored the second goal of the contest.
yes.
And he completely faked out the goalkeeper in that one, so he tried it again. That was against Harrisburg City when he scored the second goal of the match. So Aoli on the penalty kick after being brought down in the box. You know, he almost had the opportunity for one last week.
Yes.
It looked like a potential for a penalty. Wasn't called. Another one of those opportunities that you feel like could have been the second goal and what would have iced it for the home club.
Yes, you're correct. You want to put the dagger, in the heart of the other team when you get a chance like that, but it just didn't happen.
Either way, a professional effort from Sean Aoli gives FC Cincinnati the advantage in the first half. Paul Nicholson, and now actually Mitch Hildebrandt's going to come up and play it following the foul called by Rosendo Mendoza. John Horrocks was looking for a booking as Pat McMahon was fouled right along the touchline. Mitch Hildebrandt send it to Tyler Pollock. Stevenson on to Walker. Now Walker getting some pressure. Finds Nicholson. Paul Nicholson forward to Aoli. Aoli right at the 18, had it off his chest, and Sean couldn't pick it up.
Their backs are very prone tonight to miss kicks.
FC Montreal pushing the other way, looking for an equalizer. Schwanier. And Kungilwa.
Tabla.
Into the middle, Tabla. Corbin Bone going to challenge from behind. At least disrupts his momentum. And now stands on Tabla. Tabla off to his right. Now far side. Lemire. Lemire into the box. Nobody home for FC Montreal, and Andrew Wiedemann clears it away. Aoli trying to track it in. Tell you what, he was right there, Paul. If he picks that ball up, turns and goes with it.
That was very close.
Long ball the other way for FC Montreal will slowly roll out. Played way too long.
That's if you're the Montreal coach, you're holding your breath on that one.
Yeah. We haven't yet seen FC Cincinnati finish on one of their chances. The goal obviously comes on a penalty kick, so I don't think that qualifies. But you talked about in your keys of the match having them play wide. Do you think that has worked so far? Have they gotten more of those looks out wide that they are trying to accomplish?
It did early on, but now we started to narrow the focus. And now that may be a part of what Montreal is trying to do defensively as well. But right now, they've got to get it wide, get back to getting it wide, and then back to the center.
Lemire with the throw-in. Corbin Bone challenging in the corner, and the corner kick coming as Schwanier did a good job of making sure that it went off of Bone. This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Schwanier will play the corner from the far side of the pitch. Looking into the 18, off the fingertips of Mitch Hildebrandt. Quick shot comes off the foot of Dominguez. It skips wide, and Montreal keeps their offensive attack alive. Tabla is taken down right at the edge of the 18. He was looking to get a call, and it may have been a bit of an act from the youngster.
Yes, he's hoping somebody was grabbing his ankle from underneath the turf.
Rosendo Mendoza wasn't buying it. No whistle. He was hoping for a penalty kick the other way. Sent into the middle, Wiedemann and Aoli deflected off each other as the ball got there. Montreal defends it well, sends it back forward, but right to Hildebrandt.
And Jimmy McMillan has changed sides
McLaughlin
with Wiedemann.
Yep. See that often, usually about this point, about 30 minutes in or so. We are in the 40th minute, so a little bit later. Both of those forwards, very talented. McLaughlin 2 goals on the season, Wiedemann 3. And now Sean Aoli with 6 goals on the year. So Aoli has scored more goals this season individually than FC Montreal has as a team.
Remarkable. Totally remarkable. And it comes from the players that are feeding him the ball. They're looking for him as a target. He's taking the beatings from the opposition.
Here's Tabla. He's looking to play it off his back heel. Advantage had been called, and then a late whistle, and a restart will come just beyond the midfield circle for FC Montreal.
Yeah, they just wanted to see if Tabla was going to come back up with it, and I think Paul Nicholson came up with it, so the foul's taken about 7 yards toward the Bailey, outside the circle.
And Kungilwa, making his 8th appearance of the season, will set to restart it for Montreal. Or no, I'm sorry, that's
Goyette.
Yep, Belhan Goyette. Wearing the captain's armband. Here we go, Belhan Goyette into the box. Headed up over the goal and away. No trouble for Hildebrandt. And a goal kick coming for FC Cincinnati.
They had 3 runners on the backside. They're trying to hit it about 10 yards into the penalty area on the left as you're looking at the Bailey.
Kenny Walker into the middle, Corbin Bone. Bone at midfield. To Wiedemann, back to Bone. And taken away by Montreal. Dominguez out wide. Looking for Tabla in the middle. Couldn't get to it. Paul Nicholson was between Tabla and Hildebrandt, who got it and sent it forward to Pat McMahon. McMahon was looking for Jimmy McLaughlin quickly up the sideline and sent it out right in midfield.
And the ball just rolled out on him. Couldn't reach it.
Give Montreal a throw in. Yep.
This gave Coach Harsh a haircut.
I was going to say. Quick reaction time from the gaffer. He must have played this sport a little bit. Lemire sends it to the middle. Knocked back out towards the corner. Lemire will pick it up. Belhan Goyette into the middle. Kenny Walker, no trouble. And slides it forward to Corbin Bone. Bone has Aoli in the middle and McLaughlin trailing. Corbin just outside the 18. To Kenny Walker. Oh, to Andrew Wiedemann.
Just 2.
And he just missed him a bit too strong.
Just a bit heavy there.
Montreal having a hard time building it the opposite way. You see Cincinnati brings it back into play. 43rd minute. Between a goal, a booking, and a required hydration break. I think we're looking at least 3 minutes of stoppage time.
Yes, that's correct.
McLaughlin pushing towards the offensive third. Gave it to Corbin Bone, got it back. Aoli at the top of the 18. Has it defended off his foot and then cleared away by Yoseki. Delbridge, the big Australian, swings it across the pitch. Picked up by McMahon. Fed to Walker. Wiedemann. Out wide. Has it knocked out, and a corner kick coming up, brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today by calling 513-651-CASH. Tyler Pollock will come over to the near side of the pitch to take the corner kick. Second goal here would be huge for FC Cincinnati's confidence.
Going into halftime.
Going into the locker room.
Perfect.
Pollock with his left foot. into the box. Delbridge is there, got his foot onto it, and put it up over the goal.
He was fighting the defender in the back and just got his left peg around there, and as he's falling down, just went over the net.
A great look by Harrison Delbridge, who's usually in on those set pieces to use his head.
Yes.
Because he's 6'4". Delbridge has had 8 shots, now 9 this season, 3 of which have been on goal. Has yet to score. This is his 12th appearance of the season.
Yeah, that was a heavyweight fight in that back post on that one.
3 minutes of stoppage time tacked on. Stevenson back to Corbin Bone.
Good ball out to Wiedemann.
Wiedemann in the offensive third. And it'll be a throw-in. Outlaw on the touchline. Again, Pat McMahon up from his fullback position. Throw it in deep in the offensive third. Wiedemann right back to McMahon. Wiedemann. And offside is called. Wiedemann didn't agree. Montreal regained possession. Crapo into the midfield. Headed down by Bone. And now picked up by Walker. Walker was trying to feed it to a Coldy. Went off with Charbonneau and out. Throwing for FC Cincinnati at the offensive third. Onto the chest of Wiedemann. Wiedemann into the 18, well defended. Stevenson recovers. Wiedemann pulling it towards the corner. Sends it into the middle, picked up by Montreal and cleared away. But right out of bounds along the touchline, and another throw-in coming for the home lads. About another minute and a half of stoppage time here in the first half. We will hear from John Harkes as Lindsey Patterson will check in with him here in a moment as the teams head to the locker room. Pat McMahon off his head. Stevenson. Wiedemann has it tapped away. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. Wiedemann will take it this time. Finds Stevenson. Stevenson is fouled from behind. It was Alessandro Ricci, the native of Montreal, who got into his back. And right at the offensive third now, a free kick coming with about a minute left here in stoppage time. Tyler Pollock will come over to take it. Kenny Walker was acting as though he might strike it quickly. In a situation where Pollock might play it to Kenny Walker because you know Kenny's range.
Yeah, right before that, Corbin Bone tried to sneak in there behind and take a quick one again.
Ugo Okoli pushing in the box. Pollock sends it. Delbridge got his foot on it again, almost the exact same spot. And he went wide left.
He glanced off Paul Nicholson's head, right to his foot, and just off to the side.
Center backs playing forward on the restart. And Delbridge
Really
there.
Close. Really close.
Just misses on pushing FC Cincinnati to a 2-0 advantage. I would imagine the whistle coming any second. And there it is as the ball's put in the air. Rosendo Mendoza will blow his whistle. And the first half comes to an end. 1-0 thanks to the penalty kick goal by Sean Okoli. Let's get some thoughts from John Harkes with Lindsey Patterson.
Coach, the second time in 3 matches we've seen Sean Okoli get a penalty kick and capitalize on it, but one thing that helps set up that penalty kick is the hustle we see out of Okoli.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we knew it was going to be really hot today. You can see both teams, the energy zapped a little bit. So it's more about, paying attention to the details and the focus. And the focus from us was, can we get after this team, but can we close up our lines of pressure a little bit? We're leaving some gaps, and, good ball through. He capitalizes on an opportunity, gets into the 18, we get the penalty, good finish.
Speaking of the weather, you guys get 2 breaks in the match in halftime. How important is that just to stay hydrated?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, it's really hot on this type of surface, and so referees are looking after us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Lindsay, great job as always. 45 minutes in the books here at Nippert Stadium. 45 minutes still to come your way. FC Cincinnati on top 1-0 thanks to the penalty kick goal from Sean Aoli. We'll be back and find out some first memories of playing soccer for FC Cincinnati. Aoli, the difference right now. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by the Healthcare Management Group, providing greater care for greater Cincinnati. We are back at Nippert Stadium where it is halftime between FC Cincinnati and FC Montreal. For the home team, a lot of different backgrounds soccer-wise, and today we find out about some of the guys' first memory of playing the sport.
First memory of playing soccer. It's probably when I was 4 years old at the YMCA, playing for Hardee's. I remember my first goal, but that's probably my first memory of soccer, and that's kind of when the light bulb went off in my mind, and that's when I really started to fall in love with the game.
I played for a team called the Chipmunks. I was like 4 years old, and the first thing that I remember is there was this drill where we had to dribble the ball around like a big box, and you just take touches, and I think the coach was like talking to my dad about me, and I could hear him talking, like, oh, this kid's got his touches okay, he's 4 years old. And that was my first memory from playing.
My first memory of playing soccer was with my brother's team. He's about 5 years older than me, and our dad was the coach. And I was 4 years old at the time, and they stuck me in goal. And it was at the Detroit Rockers game, which was the indoor soccer team up in Detroit. And we played at halftime and got to meet the players and everything. And I've been a goalkeeper ever since, so that was kind of the first memory.
Playing in a game, and it was like a really muddy field. We were playing 11v11, and it was a mess. But I scored a few goals. That's kind of my first memory of playing.
First memory is just my grandpa taking me and my brothers out to like a local soccer club in Panama and just running around with my brothers.
I remember when I was 7 or 8 playing in a game and I slide tackled somebody for the first time on indoor and cut up my leg. But it wasn't that I remember, it was just I actually remember all my teammates being around me and all that stuff checking on me, so it's kind of like a big thing where it's actually just a team and it's not just about you. So that stuck in my mind for some reason.
A great group of guys leading FC Cincinnati. Right now they're at halftime against FC Montreal. We'll take a look at the highlights and stats when we return. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Time here inside of Nippert Stadium where FC Cincinnati leading FC Montreal 1-0. Time to check the first half highlights presented by Road Dog Logistics, one of Cincinnati's fastest growing companies. Road Dog Logistics, working like a dog to move your freight. FC Cincinnati came out. They knew they wanted to create chances. Paul, early on they were, and just missing on a few scoring opportunities.
Yes, they got the ball wide, and they were getting good service. Right there is a great line pass to Wiedemann. He does a little step over, penetrates to the goal line, and just hits it right at the keeper. Goes off for a goal kick. Great tackle, Corbin. And the ball up to Coley. He does a little heel flick, stays strong, and then
brought down in the box.
Yes,
it was a great ball to get him there. And it was clearly a penalty kick.
Yes.
For the second time in 3 weeks, Sean Aoli gave it a great effort.
Does a little stutter step, tries to get the goalkeeper to go the other way, but Sean gets a wonderful penalty kick, low and hard to the left.
Coley picks up his 6th goal of the season, and FC Cincinnati gets their first of the day. The folks in the Bailey, of course, having a party following the goal
And a great 45 minutes in the books here at Nippert Stadium. 45 still to come. Can FC Cincinnati extend their lead, trying to get to win number 7 on the year? We'll find out when we return. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. And FC Montreal emerging from their respective locker rooms, getting set for the second half. And the home lads on top 1-0 thanks to a penalty kick goal. As we take a look at some of the first half statistics. 7 shots for FC Cincinnati, 4 for the visitors. Not a save yet for Mitch Hildebrandt, as FC Montreal really hasn't challenged the home team's goalkeeper.
Not really. The only shot that they had was that curling shot from Rigier. He tried to bend it around to the right side, but he missed by about 5 feet, and that's really the closest they've been to the goal.
Let's go down to the pitch and check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Lindsay Patterson.
Guys, it's a similar story that we heard last time. Just finishing your chances, getting those opportunities, and capitalizing on them, moving the ball. And also another crowd here tonight, another over 15K sold for the Crystal Palace match. We'll see that match on July 16th here. So remember to get your tickets.
So tickets still available for Crystal Palace. You can call 513-977-KICK or fccincinnati.com. Certainly a great accomplishment for this expansion club to have an EPL side come here to America and pay a visit to the Queen City to play FC Cincinnati on July 16th. There's some talk that all the banners will be removed from the upper deck as a capacity crowd is expected for the match. I was down at Fountain Square with Corbin Bone on Thursday, and a British lady grabbed me and said, "Are you with the club?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I just bought 10, a very British accent, I just bought 10 tickets to see my team play on July 16th. I couldn't be happier to see him at Nippert Stadium. So there is a lot of excitement about having an EPL side come to Cincinnati. Right now, 45 minutes for the men in orange and blue left on the clock as they try to chase down win number 7 on the year. And I think the big thing is, Lindsay just talked about it, Paul, is continue to do what you know you're good at. Push up the sides, keep it wide, send it in, and finish those chances. Get the insurance goal tonight that you didn't see last Saturday.
Right. You don't want to let this team stay close to this as a 1-0 game, because then they just start getting confidence, and who knows, then you're throwing it up in the air as to who's going to come through.
Well, switch ends of the pitch, and FC Cincinnati will push towards the Bailey. There are no more enthusiastic supporters here at Nippert Stadium that would like to see a couple of insurance goals in the second half and light off a few more smoke bombs. No changes in the lineup for either club. And FC Montreal will get the first touch to start the second half. Rigi will stand over it with Tabla there. FC Montreal in their all-white kits. FC Cincinnati in their traditional home blue kits. The all-clear signal comes from the 4th official. And we are underway in the second half. We expect to have a hydration break in the second half, just as we did in the first 45 minutes. Ball played forward to Harrison Delbridge, who is knocked over. That will be a foul as he was defending and got tied up with Rigi. 5'4" midfielder. Not one of the biggest guys out on the pitch, but he's been aggressive tonight.
I'll tell you what, he undercut him pretty badly there.
It's a 5'4" midfielder colliding with a 6'4" Australian. Sturdy Australian at that.
Yes.
Paul Nicholson crossing the pitch. Polak. Bring it into the middle. Pretty ball to Aoli. Inside the 18 and well defended by Montreal. Charbonneau came over and sent it out. We'll have a corner kick, which is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today by calling 513-651-CASH. Short corner with Bone giving it to McLaughlin, disrupted by Montreal. Then it'll roll out and Tyler Polak will get a chance to throw it in.
Once again, they're pushing the envelope. Quick corner kick, quick touches, trying to put Montreal on their heels right from the get-go.
McLaughlin will tap it forward to Aoli and back to McMahon. 47th minute, 1-0 FC Cincinnati. Wiedemann sending it in. McLaughlin has to back up to catch up with it, and his momentum catches him, and as he's going back, the ball comes up, strikes his arm. Easy call and a handball on Jimmy McLaughlin.
His feet got caught a little bit in the turf when he turned, and it bounced up. Unlucky bounce.
Onto his right forearm. Certainly nothing intentional, but trying to keep the ball alive. Maxim Crepeau, who had 2 saves in the first half, sends it into the midfield, and Delbridge there to deflect it. McLaughlin along the near touchline. Soft touch, Stevenson. Stevenson going to feed it in the middle. Yeah! Goal! Sean Aoli nets his second of the night.
Great penetration down the left side. Stevenson serves it to the back post. Aoli buries it on a volley, inside the foot volley.
One of the keys to the match, played out wide and then finish. Those are your 2 keys at the top of the hour. And those are the 2 keys there. Coming in wide was Eric Stevenson, fed it to Aoli, and he finishes the chance, his 7th goal of the season.
It is a good pass into Stevenson. Sean buries it from about 12 yards, right straight off the post.
Right onto his right foot, and Sean Aoli celebrating with the Bailey after scoring his 2nd of the night. Foul call on Eric Stevenson right in midfield after we resume play.
Nothing like starting 3 minutes into the half, you get a 2nd goal.
Like we just talked about coming out of the locker room. Find some insurance, push the advantage, and try to secure 3 points here at home. Still plenty of soccer to to be played, and you know the youngsters on FC Montreal aren't just going to head to the bus now. They're going to keep pushing, keep playing, and try to chip away. Coley getting a ball.
Barely offside.
And offside as the flag went up on the far side of the pitch. It was going to be trouble for Crapo if Aoli gets that ball on his foot.
Yes, that'll be a great challenge right there to those two. Crapo was playing out a bit too, probably to the top of the D. Read it well.
Sean Aoli in the 34th minute gave FC Cincinnati a 1-0 advantage, and in the 48th minute makes it 2-0. Yoseki playing it forward, goes past Tabla, and Harrison Delbridge is there, left foots it, deflected out wide.
He faked Tablo out, pulled the ball back behind his leg, and then sent it up the sidelines.
We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Coming into this match, the goal differential on the season for FC Montreal was -10, so it's now -12 for FC Cincinnati, +6. They're now up to +8. Playing from behind, certainly not the strength of this FC Montreal club.
Not at all.
McLaughlin going to tap it over to Wiedemann. He has a chance. Right foots it, and a huge save by Maxim Crapo.
Crapo, fantastic save. But the ball movement in front. The ball moves outside to Wiedemann. Unbelievable shot. Great save. Aoli, great ball outside to Jimmy. Jimmy pushes it out to the top of the D. Wiedemann, a great strike. Great strike.
Crapo was the only one who was going to stop it. He did a great job, deflected it up into the Bailey.
Yep.
Corner kick coming, and it is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Tyler Pollock swings it into the 18. Delbridge off his chest to his right foot. Will leave it for McLaughlin, who's double teamed. McLaughlin trying to track it down is knocked over. Stevenson going to come up and collect. Then Stevenson is tripped up towards the corner. And a corner kick.
Great piece of work at the top of the box, Delbridge. And Stevenson did a little takeover. And then some really fine work on the touchline here. Cincinnati comes up with a throw-in.
Will that be a throw-in for Pollock? Well, the substitution momentarily for FC Montreal, their first of the night. Of course, in the USL, you're allowed 5 per match, a bit more than traditional FIFA rules, which only allow 3. You dress 18, so you have 7 subs available. Of course, one of those 7 is a backup goalkeeper. Kenny Walker with a nifty backfield to feed it to McLaughlin, then a foul.
Kenny's got to be careful. He came in with studs up, and he already has a yellow card.
And he's going to get a talking to from Rosendo Mendoza. So Mendoza's not going to book him here, but is going to have a lengthy conversation with Kenny Walker. Much to the dismay of Philippe Nerlofois. He was hoping for a red card and a man advantage the rest of the way. So the substitution. Yoseki sits down, and Mastin the ball. Kasher will check in for the first time. Nerlofois still looking for an explanation over on the FC Montreal bench. 53rd minute, free kick will come right at midfield for Montreal, trailing 2-0. And it'll float right into the hands of Mitch Hildebrand. Hildebrand wastes no time feeding it forward, trying to get it to Aoli. Taps it out wide to Wiedemann. Wiedemann in the corner to Corbin Bone. Right foots it in front of Crapo. It bends over to Jimmy McLaughlin, so it's not a goal kick, and the chance remains alive for FC Cincinnati. Pollock swinging it into the middle, but he goes right into the chest of Crapo as the Aoli was closing in.
Once again, feeding in the flanks. Flanks feed the middle. Chances come up.
I mentioned the hydration break. There was one in the first half. They have said there will be a mandatory hydration break in the second half. If you're John Hunks, coaching this, do you look at your substitutions and maybe start to make them a little bit earlier considering the temperature tonight?
I don't know, not if you're having a break right there at 75. He knows his team and squad about injuries and where they are right now, and I'm sure there's some chance we might get somebody up top to put some pressure on this team, on Montreal.
Jimmy McLaughlin trying to pick it up in the midfield, cannot. Kasher, who just checked in, does, and leaves it for Lemire. Lemire into the middle. Pat McMahon heads it away. On the foot of McLaughlin. Intercepted by FC Montreal. Dominguez. Into the middle, Schwanier. Out wide, here's Tabla. No, I'm sorry, that's not Tabla. Corbin Bone, dangerous ball, ends up on the foot of Rigi. Cleared back, Lemire, and there's a save. Mitch Hildebrandt takes it right off his chest, falls to the ground, and picks up a save in the 55th minute.
Great shot by Lemire, but Mitch was there. And unlike last week when we get the ball here, now they're starting to spread them out. They're going to pull Montreal apart, make them chase, make them run.
McLaughlin trying to play it around to himself. Wiedemann
Overlap.
wide inside the 18. Left foots it. Crepo is there.
Great run by Pat McMahon for an overlap.
Tabla trying to bring it up the near side. Tyler Pollock is there. Delbridge steps forward and deflects it. Stevenson back to Kenny Walker, who launches it out along the end line. Not what he's looking for there. Going back to the remark about the heat and making substitutions, and we don't want to give away who maybe missed a practice during the week. But you mentioned John Harkes knows who is taking a knock, maybe who needs an extra day, and we'll be at training and ask, hey, is so-and-so okay? And he says it's just rest. They're nearing that midway point of the season. And I asked him yesterday, somebody wasn't training, who's a starter? I said, he said, no, it's just rest. I'm getting different guys out there during training to get a little bit more time in that role and getting one of my normal starters just an extra day of rest to be ready for the match.
So that when they come in, there's a smooth transition from the bench to the playing. So there's no drop off at all.
Delbridge gets it from Hildebrandt. And he'll play it up the near side for Pollock. Goes out along the touchline. Quick throw in for Montreal. Corbin Bone picks up a loose ball.
Notice the confidence in Cincinnati now. They're playing a lot more one-touch balls, spreading the play out, making them chase. And what happens then, this will then make more holes, more chances to score goals.
I think the fans here in the Queen City would be okay with a couple more tonight.
They would love that. They would love that.
As Paul mentioned and Lindsay talked about at halftime, we expect another crowd around 15,000. There were long ticket lines before this one. Wiedemann out to Aoli on a wide look. Sends it into the middle. McLaughlin was knocked down. Wanted a penalty, won't see it. Corbin Bone able to save it before it goes out along the touchline. Pollock to McLaughlin.
Go.
Back to Pollock into the middle. He wanted it, or Aoli wanted it short.
He wanted driven near post.
Stevenson trying to chip it in on Crepo, who nearly took it out along the end line, but able to hold on to it. Let's go down to our sideline reporter, Lindsay Patterson.
I had a chance to talk to Coach Harkes this week at practice, and when talking about this season, he says, hey, we have a target on our back. We realize that being the new team, having some success, but his message to his team is to remain focused on those small details, and it's important in practice and in matches. I think you're seeing that here tonight.
Good focus so far. We are in the 58th minute, and the answer to my question, would he go to his subs a little bit earlier, is about to be answered. I'll tell you about that here in a moment. Ball into the box. Hildebrandt out of goal, and the shot goes up and over. Rigi couldn't finish it as Hildebrandt got caught off his line. The goal was wide open, and a missed opportunity for FC Montreal.
He will look at that forever. He'll remember that one for a long time. Great penetration by Tabla. all alone. There's nobody
Rigi.
for 13 yards out at the penalty spot, and he goes over top right.
So the substitutions, which are brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today online at levylawoffices.com. Kenny Walker will get a breather. Ross Tomaselli, who had been starting until the last 2 matches when Eric Stevenson got the starting nod, checks in. And Jimmy McLaughlin will take a seat and make way for Antoine Hoppeneau. So Hoppeneau and Tomaselli in. Walker and McLaughlin come out. Fresh legs for John Harkes in the 60th minute. Expect to see the second hydration break at a whistle around the 75th minute. Pollock trying to pick it up, gets tied up with Dominguez, and they're going to call Pollock for a foul.
Dangerous play. He was kicking on while he's down on the ground. Ref's got to protect the players.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. Belhangoye will bring it back into play following the foul on Tyler Pollock. Tom Glitter, Paul Rockwood, Lindsey Patterson, our sideline reporter, happy to be with you at Nippert Stadium. Ball into the box, played in the direction of Schwanier. Well defended by Pat McMahon and turned upfield for Aoli. Then he was trying to give it to McMahon, who was making a run up the far side of the pitch. And McMahon couldn't quite catch up with it. I do want to say, as we talk about our crew, special happy birthday wishes to our director and producer, Russ Jenish, down in the truck. Yesterday celebrated his birthday, and today celebrating with us here at Nippert Stadium.
That's great. Happy birthday, Russ.
Paul Nicholson trying to slow down Rigi. Sent into the middle. Tabla couldn't get to it. Dominguez will get a foot on it. Sends it back across the 6-yard box. Nicholson deflects it. Rigi picks it up in the corner. FC Montreal keeping it alive, trailing by 2. And Gungiwa couldn't get his foot on it. It's cleared by the home club. And into the midfield for Eric Stevenson. Goes over his head. Ross Tomaselli going to play it backwards. Just checking in moments ago to Nicholson, and now on to Hildebrand.
Spreading them out, spreading Montreal out, making them chase. Let Tomaselli get into the game a little bit.
Coley will pick it up in the offensive third. Back to Corbin Bones. Stevenson dead onto the goal. Looking to his right, misread the run of Antoine Hoppeneau.
Yep. He was going this way, the ball went that way.
Flag was up right in front of FC Montreal's bench. Offside will be the call. And a free kick coming outside of the defensive third in the midfield for Ross Tomaselli. (2-0 FC Cincinnati thanks to 2 goals by Sean Ugo Aoli. Hildebrand, long ball for Wiedemann, and it ends up inside of the 18. So Crepeau will come over and scoop it up. 7th appearance of the season for Crepeau. Member of the Canadian national team. He has 1 appearance for them. He was a homegrown player signed by Montreal Impact in 2013. Has yet to make an MLS appearance.
Those are tough to get.
Ball's played forward to Kasher. Now onto the foot of Tabla. Tabla, the 17-year-old, working just outside the 18. Gave it to Dominguez. Now out, and a big save by Mitch Hildebrand as the shot came from Nkungiwa, and Mitch says no.
He is about 12 yards out from the goalpost on the right or the left-hand side, and he takes and drills that thing. Montreal keeps showing a lot of energy. Great save by Mitch.
Corner kick coming for FC Montreal. Shot sails over the goals. That corner kick was brought to you by the Levy Law offices, where they turn your crash into cash. We talked about it at the start of this half, Paul. FC Cincinnati had not made a save. Mitch Hildebrand wasn't really challenged in the first half. A couple times he's had to come up big, including right there.
Yeah, and he had the other shot, the dipping shot, about 10 minutes before. That was a great save, though. Again.
Corbin Bone with a misplay. Tabla picks it up. Dominguez across the middle. It's played backwards by Pat McMahon, and luckily cleared away by FC Cincinnati.
See, this is where Cincinnati just has to play a little keep away, let them run, let them chase. No need to rush anything.
Delbridge stepping over the ball and a defender. Here comes the big Aussie.
He weaves his way through the midfield.
And then he gives way to the forwards. Hopino to Wiedemann. Trying to turn on it in the box, cannot.
You just wonder how much more is left in Wiedemann tonight because of this heat and his work ethic tonight.
And imagine we will see Omar Cummings maybe in the next 10 minutes or so. Will he come on for Aoli or Wiedemann? Remains to be seen. Ball rolls out along the end line. Crapo will get a goal kick in the 66th minute. If you're FC Montreal, you have to start pushing a little bit more the pace on your end and attacking. Got to get the first before you can get the second. You have to find a way to try and chip away at this 2-goal hole.
Right, but then that exposes you in the back for maybe a breakaway.
Against a club that knows how to score a little bit.
Yes.
Hopino will play it out wide for Wiedemann. California native sends it into the middle. Aoli didn't quite get there, and then Stevenson trying to track it down cannot. Throw in for FC Montreal. Montreal's one win this year did come on the road at Richmond. They were 0-4-0 at home. Seven consecutive matches unbeaten for FC Cincinnati, trying to extend that streak tonight as they are currently in the midst of a 5-match home streak. This is the 4th of those 5 matches. It'll end up being 6 of 7. Great opportunity here in the middle of the schedule to pick up some big-time points.
Great
Pollock
service
into
by
the middle. Missed Aoli. Wiedemann got there, tried to turn on it. FC Cincinnati was calling for a handball. Nothing from Rosendo Mendoza.
There wasn't a whole lot of protest from the players either.
Right. It was mostly the Bailey.
Yes.
And the supporters at this stage in the 67th minute may have stayed hydrated themselves. So
yes.
Their perspective on things may be a little different than the match official.
That's all they need to do.
Corbin Bone in the midfield. Swings it out wide for McMahon. Back to Tomaselli in the midfield. Wiedemann bumped, and Montreal regains possession. Dominguez will get the ball. Pollock got caught up. Dominguez has some space. Into the 18. Pollock will deflect it away.
What a great effort to get back. After going all the way up past half line, he sprinted back and then played the ball out.
Corner coming for Montreal. It's brought to you by the Levy Law offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Contact them today by calling 513-651-CASH. I'm sorry, it is not a corner kick. Montreal was selling it as though it was. It is a goal kick instead. Instead, we will have a substitution for FC Montreal. Yasin Ait-Sliman will replace Rigi. Ait-Sliman, his 5th appearance of the season. That substitution is brought to you by the Levy Law offices. So I already told you how to contact them. The corner kick didn't happen, but the substitution did. And now Omar Cummings has turned his card in, so he will check in at the next whistle and have about 20 minutes to try to work his offensive magic. Tomaselli playing along the back line right now, back to Hildebrand. Nicholson with the long ball. Lances off the head of Aoli. Openo trying to pick it up. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. It'll come just outside the offensive 30. No, it'll be, yes, it will. Tyler Pollock will throw it in. Cummings will wait until after the throw in, apparently. The fourth official not ready, and now he will signal in the substitution, maybe. I think John Harkes was waiting. He wanted to get Omar Cummings in. And Sean Aoli, who scored 2 goals tonight, will step out. Scored on a penalty kick in the 34th minute. Scored in the 48th minute on a feed from Eric Stevenson. And he will be replaced by great goal scorer in his own, Omar Cummings, who played here at the University of Cincinnati. Will check in and look to push FC Cincinnati's advantage a bit further. That substitution is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Pollock on the throw-in to Stevenson, right back to Pollock. Stevenson will launch a shot that goes well wide. And a goal kick for Maxim Crepeau. It's good when you can take out your guy who scored 2 goals today and replace him with the Jamaican native who has 42 career MLS goals.
The cupboard is not bare.
1 this season so far. Cummings looking for a ball from Openo. Openo regains control. And here comes the Cummings in the box. Cummings off his head. Right foots it! And he goes just over the goal. What a look from Omar Cummings, fresh off the bench. And he played it off his head, Paul, and had a great look at it.
What a great, delightful little chip into Omar, and it just went over the bar.
And Crepeau got a piece of it, so a corner kick will come up from the far side. Of course, Cummings scored his goal on his first look of the season, checking in against Toronto, the opponent for FC Cincinnati next week. This corner kick is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash.
30 seconds into the game, that was pretty good for him.
Pollock into the box, headed away by FC Montreal. 72nd minute now. Pollock trying to keep it alive. He's going to have to turn to make a long run back defensively. Montreal has numbers in the midfield. And then they play it into the middle and nobody there. Goes right to Mitch Hildebrand. Let's go down to the pitch, check in with Lindsey Patterson.
Guys, in about 3 minutes, we'll see that second break in the second half, the 75th minute. They're already filling the water bottles out down here. Just that second hydration break, thanks to the USL.
So the air temperature was about 89 degrees when this match started about an hour and a half ago. The field temperature was right around 100 degrees. It's been in the shade, and obviously the sun is set at this point, so probably mid-80s in the air at the moment, but the USL decided before the match there would be 2 hydration breaks. Openo trying to feed it to Cummings.
Some clever touches that flicked up over top of the defender.
What's amazing is that FC Cincinnati makes these substitutions, doesn't miss a beat chemistry-wise. Montreal breaks it up inside of the 18. Tyler Pollock comes forward to deflect it off of the foot of Kacher.
Keeps the pressure on the opponent, adds some brightness to the attack.
Openo along the end line, off of Crepeau. It'll be a corner kick. No, a goal kick. Again, the Bailey not convinced that it didn't touch Crepeau before going out along the end line. 73rd minute, 2-0, FC Cincinnati.
In that situation, they are a little closer to the line and the linesman.
Ball in the midfield for FC Montreal. You know, it's not often that you see a match as the ball is sent into the 18. Tabla trying to get around Pollock, and then he grabs out of Tyler Pollock and is called for the foul. A mistake by the youngster. I was going to say, it's not often that you see a match where the next game for each of the clubs.
Ball never went out of the penalty area. Ball didn't go out of the penalty area, and then they have to redo it.
They'll redo the goal kick here for Mitch Hildebrand. But or the free kick, I guess, off the foul that was called. Both of these clubs, their next match is against Toronto FC2.
That's
A derby game coming up on Wednesday for Montreal as they'll take on their rivals at 11:30 a.m. back up north of the border. And then next Saturday here at 7 o'clock, Toronto FC2 will be here fresh off the derby matchup with Montreal. Toronto FC2, I was mentioning that goal by Omar Cummings was against that club when they played up in Toronto back in April. Their club that's been struggling in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference right now. Another opportunity next week for FC Cincinnati to pick up big points as they're trying to chase down Louisville City, who is leading the East and has been all year long. Right up the middle of the pitch, Kasher. Tablo with a shot that goes just wide. Hildebrand dove for it, did not touch it. And a substitution.
good pressure
Maybe
by
this will be the
Delbridge.
hydration break.
Yes,
as
it
they will
is.
send both teams over. Keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL. So hydration break in the 75th minute at Nippert Stadium. Tom Glitter, Paul Rockwood, Lindsey Patterson. Happy to be with you. Appreciate everybody who's joining us on television, radio, and of course on the USL's YouTube channel tonight. It's been fun to spend our Saturdays with you here week after week. Got another one next week, as I mentioned, against Toronto. Then FC Cincinnati will play at Louisville City. Interesting to note, Louisville City has 2 players suspended for their match tomorrow, including Ben Newnam, who's been playing pretty well this year. He was suspended for throwing a punch against Orlando City B. He did not get carded. There wasn't even a foul called in that match last weekend. Suspended for 3 matches. So when I first saw that, in my head, I'm thinking things through, thinking his third of those 3 matches will be a suspension, will be against FC Cincinnati on June 25th. No, Louisville City plays midweek that week, so his first game back will be against FC Cincinnati. And there is the upcoming schedule for the home club. Toronto FC2 is here Saturday, then the big match. Second of 3 matches against Louisville City FC this season back home, July 2nd, and plenty of soccer in the month of July for FC Cincinnati, including that Crystal Palace match. Tickets on sale as those 2 teams will play here at Nippert Stadium. Already over 15,000 tickets sold, and that match is a month and 5 days away. They are expecting a capacity crowd when they meet here at Nippert Stadium on July 16th, 7 p.m. start. And here comes a substitution.
Ankeny.
And for Montreal, it is a new player, Brandon Ankeny, out of Switzerland, the defender. You see wearing number 77. He was signed yesterday afternoon. You know what broadcasters love when they print their charts on Thursday and then teams sign a new player? So Brandon Ankeny checks in after being with the club for just about 28 hours. 77th minute as a foul is called. Omar Cummings is cut down just at the offensive third. Free kick coming up for the men in orange and blue.
As soon as you heard that, you knew he was going to play today. They weren't going to bring him down here for not playing.
Got confirmation about an hour and a half before the match that he was on the trip. Talk about hard time finding chemistry. There it is right there.
Yes.
You're still learning everybody's names at this point. Tyler Pollock swings it into the box. Delbridge was there. He had 2 great looks in the first half. Doesn't catch up with that one. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. The attendance number in 14,267. So 14,267 as FC Cincinnati continues their streak. Now 7 straight matches, 7 home matches at 10,000 plus. Tyler Pollock gets it in the box to Omar Cummings. Couldn't get it. FC Montreal defends it well, out to midfield. Delbridge puts his head on it. Corbin Bone out wide. Hopino about 2 steps behind the ball as it rolls out along the touchline.
But the whole trend of the whole game, Tom, they've gotten the ball wide, they're looking wide, then they look back into the middle, and then they get the good service. That's a great trend to be on.
Eric Stevenson taken down at midfield. No whistle comes. Stevenson is still down, grabbing his left leg. And the ball comes into the midfield, FC Montreal, and Stevenson can't get up. Nicholson's going to send it out into the stands. Stevenson take a minute to shake it off. He got up, went back down to the pitch, and we'll have a conversation with the match official. Appears as though he'll be able to stay in.
Looks like he got kicked and got a little cramp out of that.
John Harkes has used 3 of his allotted 5 substitutions thus far. And Kungyowa sends it in, and FC Cincinnati picks it right up. Omar Cummings looking for a long ball, doesn't get to it, but then picks it up on a deflection, taps it backwards for Tyler Pollock. Cummings had a great look coming off the bench and nearly made it a 3-0 ball game. Of course, he replaced Sean Aoli, who has both goals tonight. Swung to the far side, Pat McMahon. Into the offensive third, McMahon to the middle, deflected to Wiedemann. Wiedemann chipping in the direction of Cummings and headed away.
That was
by FC
right.
Montreal.
That was right for a near post run on that.
Ankani got his first touch of the season. Nice defense there, Paul Nicholson. 80th minute now, so 10 minutes of regulation left, plus some stoppage time. Say as of right now, we're probably looking at another 3 minutes of stoppage time between the hydration break and the goal by Sean Aoli. So going back to your keys that we talked about 75 minutes ago, keep it wide and finish chances.
Check.
Pretty good job.
Check.
I think if you talk about finishing chances, you feel maybe one more goal
Yes.
would truly satisfy that.
Yes.
If it stays at 2-0 and finishes that way, then mission accomplished, 3 points added onto the table for FC Cincinnati.
Right.
But you feel like you've had good opportunities today. Right now, 2 goals, and maybe there'll be opportunity for more. Long ball ends up into the hand of Mitch Hildebrand. Philip Lingcourt-Joseph was trying to catch up with it and did not. Ball will slowly roll out along the near side touchline. It'll be a throw in for FC Cincinnati, who at this point is not going to be in any type of a rush to bring it back into play. You see Philip Irlafoy, he wants him to be in a rush to bring it back in and try to give his club a chance.
He was offering to throw it in himself.
Ball sent into the middle. Hopino cannot get to it. Deflected by Kasher. And now Bone back to Tomaselli. Pollock on to Bone. You hear the drums banging away in the Bailey. Hopino misplays it. Ends up with Montreal. Pat McMahon is going to be called for a foul, as he brought Ike Sleeman down to the ground. Free kick coming just across midfield for Montreal.
Once again, the referee waited to see if Cincinnati came up with the ball, and if they did, then the foul was called.
Harrison Delbridge to head it away. Eric Stevenson, who will be replaced at the next whistle, comes out wide on to Hopino. Evan Lee is checked in with the 4th official. Hopino is fouled, and that'll give FC Cincinnati an opportunity to make the sub.
Once again, Tom, there's just wonderful skill sets that these guys have down here. They're always constantly just getting out these little car wrecks almost, and they just do a great job.
This substitution is brought to you by the Levy Law Offices, where they turn your crash into cash. Stevenson out, Evan Lee in, and no question this is a defensive substitution for John Harkes. Lee a defender, Stevenson an attacking midfielder, and sets up the fortress a bit here for the final 10 minutes or so. Tomaselli is trying to connect with Wiedemann, went out along the end line. Goal kick coming up for Crapo. So a dry night finally at Nippert Stadium, where the temperature is above 50 degrees. I haven't seen that since April 16th. Of course, that was the Louisville City game, the first of 3 matchups this season. I mentioned that FC Cincinnati will play at Louisville coming up on June 25th. That's 2 weeks from tonight.
That'll be huge.
Louisville City is back here on July 23rd. That'll be a 4 p.m. matchup. Pollock heading it in the direction of Cummings. Cummings going to be pushed out of bounds. That was Brandon Ancani, who just signed with the club, picking up a foul. So he's got his name onto the score sheet. Free kick for Pollock. Cummings will make his way into the 18 and look and receive it.
Going back to the Louisville situation, we came back hard on that game, and Cincinnati here, and I'm really looking forward to that game.
I think both matchups.
That's going to be a great matchup game.
Corbin Bone with his right foot into the box, goes over everybody and out along the end line. Crapo goal kick as they announce the attendance here at Nippert Stadium. Again, 14,267 if you missed it. I did talk to Jeff Smith, who oversees all the ticket sales for FC Cincinnati. He said ticket sales have been swift already for next Saturday. So I'd imagine there's no question they'll eclipse 10,000 for the 8th consecutive match next week. Openo's knocked down. Foul is called.
They put Lee in the back center and they moved Paul Nicholson up with a holding midfielder, Thomas Maselli.
And there's a foul as Tabla and Openo got tied up. Nicholson has a lot of experience playing in the midfield, so natural for him to step up.
And Tomaselli sits in there so well, and that allows Paul just to throw his weight around in there and win tackles.
Hildebrand with a huge right foot. Headed forward to Omar Cummings, who collected it, but couldn't quite turn on it.
He is so quick.
It's funny. Yesterday we were talking to John Harks, Pollock out to Openo. He was telling us Omar Cummings still at the age of 33, the oldest player on this club, one of the fastest guys on the club. Of course, he spent many years playing with the Jamaican national team, had a great career with the Colorado Rapids before heading down to play for the Houston Dynamo. Last year led the NASL in scoring before deciding to come home, as he calls it, to Cincinnati. Played at Cincinnati State and the University of Cincinnati, so a lot of good feelings about the city of Cincinnati. Now Delbridge tackled hard in the corner. It'll just be a common foul as Ike Sleeman got a piece of it.
Delbridge comes over, they double him, pushes it too far, and the guy comes to the back.
That easily could have been a card, right?
Yeah,
he's not making a play on the ball.
No, not at all.
Delbridge is up off his feet. Ike Sleeman is called for the foul.
That's going out in the force and kicking a tree, though. That's how big he is. So strong.
87th minute, Nippert Stadium, 2-0, FC Cincinnati. Ball comes off of Openo along the sideline. Throw in for Montreal. Openo can't get to it. Foul is called on FC Cincinnati. Cummings has come on for Aoli, who scored both goals. He's had a couple of good looks. Wiedemann had a great look earlier on a huge save by Maxim Crapo. That might be the defensive play of this match, is Maxim Crapo making that save. Yeah, Mitch had a good one down here. Maxim Crapo had a big one down there in front of the Bailey on that shot by Wiedemann.
The Bailey would have just exploded on that, the goal, if that would have been a goal.
We talked about it last week. Aoli had the goal of the month for April in the USL. Wiedemann had the goal of the month for May in the USL, so they're looking for a candidate. I don't know that there's one yet that'll be on the roll, but yeah. and plenty of opportunities still to come for the men in orange and blue. Tyler Pollock set to throw it in. Bone to Pollock. Pollock into the middle. Tomaselli couldn't quite get there. Montreal going to pick it up in the midfield. Out wide on the far side of the pitch. Tabla making a run into the box. Shot, and it goes just wide and high of Mitch Hildebrand. Schwanier got his foot onto it and misfired.
You see Pat McMahon pull up just at the last moment so he didn't cause a penalty kick in there. too far. Right there, he could have.
Great pass from Mike Sleeman to find
Yep.
Schwanier.
Yes. Even to the end. They just fight, and they fight defensively.
FC Montreal looking for a ball. Finally, they get one in the midfield. And the throw will come from the near side. Height Sleeman will get it. Paul Nicholson right there at his back. And Nicholson with a slide taps it away. Onto the near sideline, Secunda. Secunda with Pollock in his face. Tyler Pollock showing his defensive acumen and knocking it out near side touchline. 90th minute now, 2-0 FC Cincinnati. Height Sleeman leaves it for Umkingiwa. Umkingiwa's going to swing it into the box. Delbridge heads it away. Shot and a late goal for FC Montreal. It comes from the top of the box, and Belhangoye, I believe, or was it Schwanier? Either way, another late goal at Nippert Stadium, and all of a sudden 2-1 as FC Montreal
Fake kick.
gets on the board.
Head out, Delbridge, not quite far enough. Just out of the outreach hands of Mitch.
Mitch Hildebrand loses the clean sheet late. And it was actually Kasher, the substitution. Mastanabo Kasher, I beg your pardon, from Algeria, gets his first goal of the season. We are now in stoppage time. 4 minutes of stoppage time coming as FC Montreal has made it a 1-goal match. There's a little bit of controversy over on the FC Montreal bench right now. I'm not sure what the situation is. Someone's been thrown out from the FC Montreal bench. It's not their head coach, Philippe Herlofoy. There he is. But somebody was sent off from FC Montreal's bench. So 4 minutes of stoppage time on the clock. A minute has already run off. That won't count. So we still have 4 minutes when the ball's put back into play. And all of a sudden, late game woes are creating a bit of an issue. So there you see it. One of the assistant coaches for FC Montreal sent off. And now they're saying 6 minutes of extra time. I heard John Harks yell, why did you add more time? 6 minutes of stoppage time have been added. And very little has it been played. It was the goalkeeper coach for FC Montreal who was sent off. So he said something to the officials after the goal was scored. You don't often see after a goal is scored.
On your side.
Yeah, maybe the other way. And now FC Cincinnati, Paul, needs to focus up. A late goal again. This was the problem last week, is it suddenly was a draw, not a win.
They need leadership now. They need possession.
FC Montreal was dominating possession until Corbin Bone picked it up.
Whedon smartly pulls the ball back.
Tomaselli splits two defenders. Gives it over to Wiedemann. Wiedemann looking for Cummings. Instead, he'll shoot it just wide.
It sure
the
looked
flag
like he
went
came.
up.
Yeah,
I
but
thought he was onside.
Yeah, somebody else was offside, but they're in offside position.
So the flag goes up far side. Still time for FC Montreal. Ball's played backwards. Tyler Pollock can't get to it. Mitch Hildebrand puts his foot on it. Up to Pollock. Montreal pushing forward. And a throw in for FC Cincinnati.
Smart play by Tyler, knocking it off the opponent's legs, out of bounds.
And again, some conversation taking place in front of FC Montreal's bench. Hopino was getting tangled up with Secunda. A goal from Kasher in the 90th minute has made it 2-1. We are in stoppage time right now. FC Montreal holding possession in the midfield. I'd say we still have 3 to 4 minutes of stoppage time remaining. It's going to feel like an eternity. Paul Nicholson picked it up. A late whistle and a foul will be called on Corbin Bone. Dangerous free kick coming here. And the ball being inched forward by Kasher, who had the goal moments ago. 7th appearance of the season. That's his first goal in 2 years playing for FC Montreal.
Wiedemann smartly talks to the referee about them moving the ball forward, and the ref corrects the mistake.
So it's brought back a few inches. Kasher will stand over it. Big moment here for FC Cincinnati. Free kick coming, and it goes high over the goal. Danger averted for the moment. Mitch Hildebrand will take his time on the goal kick. You see about 4 minutes of stoppage time expired. 6 minutes were signaled in, but that clock started at 90 minutes. I don't think the true 6 minutes started until about 91 on the clock you're seeing here on television.
I think you're correct there on that, Tom.
I think there's going to be more time than the folks here at Nippert Stadium would probably like.
And the players as well.
Ball tapped forward. Polak will head it away. Paul Nicholson comes back, and he's going to be called for a handball. They're going to say it caught his left arm trying to defend. Here comes another free kick for Montreal. FC Montreal has completely taken over this match in the last 5-6 minutes.
Yes, they have. It's going to be up to Cincinnati now to correct that.
Belhangoye knocks it wide of Mitch Hildebrand on the free kick. A little bit of contact there in front of FC Cincinnati's goalkeeper, much to the chagrin of Mitch. Mitch will push his guys forward. I'd imagine everybody here, the clock does not run in stadium, so the fans a little bit anxious, waiting for a whistle from Rosendo Mendoza.
It's one of those hold your breath moments.
Out across midfield, played in the direction of Cummings. Can't get to it. Hopino plays it off his chest. Picked back up by Bill Hangoye. FC Montreal in the midfield, and the whistle is blown. The match comes to an end here at Nippert Stadium, and a 2-1 victory for FC Cincinnati makes it 8 straight unbeaten, and they are dancing in the Bailey tonight as FC Cincinnati goes to 7-2-3.
Fantastic finish. Way to gut it out, grind it out, whatever you need to do, finish the game, and they finished it tonight.
Two goals from Sean Aoli gives FC Cincinnati their 7th win of the season. Lindsay is with John Harks as we go down to the pitch.
Coach, a late goal, but tonight your guys, they really just showed up, and you could just see they kept their composure even though there was plenty of stoppage time out there.
Yeah, you know, when you start adding a little bit more stoppage time for one of their guys on the bench to be thrown off, I don't know if that's fair or not. You know, I mean, they took their time to delay the game as much as possible, so when you add the extra 2 minutes on, look, they pushed as much as they could. I give them credit. You know, again, our guys did well. You know, we should put the third one in, and then we should be okay. But, you know, more lessons to learn in the process.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, John Harks and FC Cincinnati picks up 3 more points here at Nippert Stadium in win number 7 on the campaign. We'll have much more to come here from Nippert Stadium as we will wrap it up when we return. A 2-1 victory thanks to Sean Aoli, who netted 2 tonight. We'll wrap it up when we return. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Tom Glenner and Paul Rockwood are back with you at Nippert Stadium, where FC Cincinnati victorious over FC Montreal 2-1 in the first ever meeting between these two teams. The celebration carries on in the Bailey as the supporters are happy with win number 7 on the season. And you heard John Harks talking about it, a real professional effort tonight. You got the 2 goals from Aoli. Obviously the 3rd goal probably should have been there, but in the end the most important thing is the 3 points.
That is correct. Now we go and focus on the next match, and we go for another 3 points and keep building as we go through the season.
Another solid defensive effort. One little lapse there at the end made it 2-1, and FC Montreal had some more chances there in the final few minutes, but did not finish it off. Tonight's post-match highlights are brought to you by Toyota. For all Toyota offers, including those not seen on TV, go to Toyota's official website for deals at buyatoyota.com. So 2 goals tonight from Sean Aoli, and the first one set up thanks to a tackle in the box that resulted in a penalty kick.
Yes, he fought it strong in there and got tackled from behind and mauled. Once again, his shoulder. Earlier he got muscled off the ball. This time he took it, won the penalty kick.
So the low penalty kick, second PK goal in 3 weeks here at Nippert Stadium for Sean Aoli. His 6th goal of the season at the time made it 1-0. Then his 2nd goal on a pretty play made it 2-0.
Good combination play. Ball played out. Eric smashes it across, and then Coley buries it inside. McLaughlin, Johnson, cross, buries it.
First assist of the season for Eric Stevenson, and now 7 goals this year for Sean Aoli. Mitch Hildebrand was challenged a few times and came up with a save of the match for Hildebrand right there.
Mitch is just brilliant on that. Here's the goal. I think it was a product of some fatigue. Players trying to get back, and it was a good shot by the
Kasher, yeah.
Kasher. Great
so
shot.
Kasher makes it 2-1, but FC Cincinnati able to hold on for the victory. Ugo Aoli signing autographs as FC Cincinnati and their fans celebrating. Tonight's moment of the match is brought to you by the Cincy Brew Bus, Cincinnati's original and premier craft brewery, winery, and distillery tours. And I think Sean Aoli is going to end up with the moment of the match. Paul, 2 goals. And, well, I think it was the first one. The penalty kick gave him the goal in the first half and some momentum to the men in orange and blue.
And he shot before, he smartly runs in front of the defender, which causes him to stop, and then falls on top of Aoli, where then he buries the penalty kick.
John Harks was pleased with the effort, and Sean Aoli signing autographs for the fans before heading to the locker room. FC Cincinnati now 4-1-2 here on their home pitch, and 7-2-3 on the season. Once again, our final score from Nippert Stadium is FC Cincinnati 2, FC Montreal 1. Our next broadcast of USL Soccer on WSTR and ESPN 1530 comes your way next Saturday, June 18th, when FC Cincinnati welcomes Toronto FC 2 to the pitch. The action begins at 7 p.m. For sideline reporter Lindsey Patterson, my broadcast partner Paul Rockwood, our producer Russ Dennis, and production manager Mike Bacon, I'm Tom Glenner saying so long and good night from Nippert Stadium.